Yo, what is happening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys really enjoyed the Kruger episode. I know it was a little bit short. I didn't really plan on filming that much, but it was just such an experience that I couldn't resist just trying to show you guys a little bit of what we experienced while we were there. We saw so many animals, from impalas to giraffe to buffaloes to hyenas to wild dogs, and even tons and tons of elephants. So it was simply amazing. You can probably hear I'm a little bit out of breath. I'm just trying to keep these dogs on their toes, you know. If you guys enjoyed that video, please make sure to drop any more comments if you guys want any more tips and tricks on if you want to go camping to the Kruger. I know there's not a lot of information out there, so I thought it would be quite interesting to show you guys some of the layouts of the camps, and also to give you guys a little bit of a background as to some of the satellite camps, because for most people going to the Kruger and camping, they have absolutely no idea what is going on there. It's majority for the people that have been there several times, that know how it works, that know what the lowdown is. So for any of you that are ever interested in going to the Kruger to camp, please, if you really want more information, I'm all about sharing any of the knowledge that I obtained while I was there. It was definitely a learning curve for me as well. It was the first time that I actually went and camped in the Kruger, but nevertheless, even if you are the biggest beginners out there in camping, you can still be able to do it. Doesn't matter the level of experience that you have or the type of equipment that you have. Doesn't matter. If you just want to go out and camp, you can still do it without anything. So if you guys want another video on that, just to give you guys some tips and tricks, if you want to go and camp to these remote camps, I'll be happy to do a video for you guys. Today is a little bit different. We are here at the Wilddogs, and something interesting is happening. I thought I'd bring you guys along and share you guys a little bit of the insights and the things that I need to see every day in order for me to determine if the dogs are still happy, if they're still doing good and all that. So I'm going to explain to you guys in a little while what is currently happening with the pack. So the pack consists out of 15 dogs. Now, for the time being, for the last 2 weeks, even on the week that I was away, there was a little bit of mating taking place. You can see the male going crazy right here behind me. Now, this is actually what I wanted to show you guys. You can see them all just running past me, and they're heading in a specific direction. So what wild dogs tend to do is when it comes into mating season, only the matriarch and one of the dominant males, or the alpha male in this case, will be the one that is allowed to mate with her. Now, there will be several opportunity takers that would try and mate out of their place, so meaning a non-dominant female with a non-dominant male, and sometimes that can cause a little bit of havoc in between the pack's dynamics. Now, what that essentially means is that these 2 members, 3 members, 4 members that did not follow the rules of the pack are going to need to be punished, and unfortunately that's how nature works. That's how the dynamics of the wild dogs work. They are going to punish these animals by either biting them, pushing them out of the pack, anything to try and teach them a lesson. So sometimes these in the long term will just fade away and they'll be allowed to come back into the pack, and other times, it's almost impossible. They have rejected them out of the pack completely, where things do get a little bit complicated and a little bit tricky. But that's where, obviously, you need to know what to look out for, and you need to know what signs to look for when it comes to the wild dogs. The majority of the pack are right here in front of us, but there is like one over there, and there's another one right here behind the bush, and that is where the problem comes in. There are currently 2 dogs that are being pushed out of the pack, which is never a nice thing to see, but it is natural for them to do that. Once the pack has decided on this thing, it's almost set in stone, and it will never change their decision to kick them out. But in some cases, it is not really that harsh. It's basically just them trying to teach them a lesson. There's currently 2 that are being pushed out, and it's not that serious. And why I say this is not that serious is when the pack goes out to eat, the 2 will literally stay as far as possible away from the pack to avoid any injuries being sustained on them, the pack attacking them, or the pack just trying to punish them even more. You'll see some individual dogs that leave the food and chase those 2 dogs away and try and pounce on them and all kinds of stuff. But for the majority of these 2, they are still allowed to come and eat, which is fantastic things to see. That is the key point that we need to keep our focus on, because if they are still allowed to come and eat with the pack, it's all good. You know, we can just take a nice deep breath, because that is really what you want to see. If they weren't allowed to come and eat for, let's say, a week, 2 weeks, and it all depends, you need to try and monitor them as best as possible, then there is a little bit of complications that are going to come into play. But I think that's for another type of video. I think it's really important to try and explain to you guys like the stepping stones of what you need to look at. There's no book that is written on the things that I'm trying to explain to you guys now. I had to learn this over many years, and obviously with the help of an amazing mentor that taught me almost everything that I knew. So for majority of my videos, I'm just going to try and explain to you guys what I've learned over the years, which is incredible. I just feel that the more I get to be able to explain to people a different level of what you can do in conservation or when you work with animals. It is just an amazing thing, and I feel the more people try and understand animals, the more animals would actually crawl into their hearts and they'll see them in a different eye point, which is the main goal here. We want to spread love, we want to spread joy, we want to spread some awareness about these animals, because African wild dogs are extremely endangered. And even though we were in the Kruger, and the Kruger is about 2 million hectares, we only saw 7 wild dogs, which is crazy. So you know that the numbers are really, really low, and the numbers are obviously dropping by the day. It's extremely meaningful for me to be able to explain to you guys the dynamics of the pack, to understand how these dogs work. And even if you see them in the wild, you will be able to compare the behaviors that I'm showing you now with any of the wild dogs that you see any place else. There will be a few minor changes, but you know, that's how it is. It might just differ with their characteristics or their characters, but I find it super, super interesting. Keep my eye out on that guy. That guy's dangerous. He'll take a chance if he can. So those ones over there, it's the male and the female. He's just walking behind us, sniffing her. There we go. And that was much worse during the past 2 weeks. So it looks like things are calming down, which is fantastic news for the two that were up there. Because if this were to carry on a little bit longer, we would have had a lot of troubles on our hands. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It is something different. I mean, if you start looking at animals in a different way, like I tried to explain to you guys, it just opens so many different doors. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Add your comments, and I'll see you guys a little bit later. Again.